DSLR recently. That's what you do, right, Mark? Like, I mean, what camera are you using right now? Is that your webcam or is that your DSLR?
So the one you guys see is my actual MacBook Pro camera.
Okay.
The one that's streaming on Facebook is my other camera that's up there. But my DSLR, so I just bought a continuous power supply for it, where I can just plug it into the battery pack, and I never have to worry about batteries. So I can keep it on at all times.
Nice.
And what I'll do is I'll stream. I'll have this go directly to my laptop, but not record, but just show my viewfinder. So wherever I move this, it moves on my computer, and you're like, oh, that's what I would shoot.
Right.
I don't ever hit record on here, but I record it on my computer, and it looks like I'm recording on here.
Right. Well, and that's what you were trying to do, right, Juan? Like to stream from your Canon,
Yes, I'm trying. So right now I'm doing the same thing. The webcam built into the iMac is what I'm using, and of course the quality isn't that great. So I was trying to do it so that the DSLR becomes the webcam, but it's proven to be a little more challenging than I thought. Then again, I've only started today, and I'm actually like after years of owning the equipment, because I'm an impulse buyer. I have all this stuff. Today's the first time I started messing with it, so I gotta give it some time. Time is what I have now.
Man, you're good. You have no idea how, like, for something so simple, like Mark and I have messed up so incredibly, tremendously bad. So I think you're doing great, man. Yeah.
So through the years, my primary job is I own a very small business where I do pool table installation. So it's more manual than mechanic, than electronics and tech.
Okay.
The most tech I use is a drill, an impact gun.
Okay.
But I love technology, so technology is always my hobby. Like I'm messing with it. I learned how to do a little coding. I made I actually built some a couple arcade machines using Raspberry Pis and stuff like that. So I'm into it. It's my hobby, which I should start looking into it being my job, because I might need a new one anyways.
I mean, I think we're all in the same spot. It is hard, man. It's definitely hard because a lot of people have the same mentality, right? Like we all want to get into it. And so I think Mark has discovered in myself that, I mean, it's just difficult, man. But if you have the tech skills and whatever, it's doable. It's just the time, right? Like you said, right now might be
the time, because now I have the time.
Yeah.
So tomorrow I'll spend some time working on how to make the webcam. Once I figure that out, I'll pass the information along.
Yep.
So we'll see.
No, that makes sense. So let me what do you do for a living again? You just told me, but your business is closed because of the quarantine, I'm guessing.
Correct. I do pool table installations and sales.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's about.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, is that a bummer that it's closed, or are you kind of content a little bit to be in quarantine for a little while, or?
So I need to work because again, I'm self-employed, so it's if I don't work, I don't make, but at the same time, it's not worth it. I have a person in my home who's more high risk than the rest of us. My wife, she had, so you can't. Once we get to the other end, we'll figure it out.
I get you, man.
That's it. Yeah.
I mean, it's so many people in the same situation, It is what it is.
I struggle with the choices of going and not going, and eventually, it's like it's not worth it. And then the government just completely took it away from me. So, stay home, because my job requires. It's not like I can deliver it to your front door and leave. It requires me going into your home, into your space, being in your home for 2 to 3 hours at a time. So I'm in there,
Yeah. So is there a shelter in place in Massachusetts, or orders a shelter in place order? Or,
yes.
Yeah.
So it's a stay-at-home order. Essential businesses only. Restaurants are only allowed to. I think a lot of places are like that. Takeout or delivery. Yeah. You can't sit in. The chairs are all gone. A lot of places took the chairs away because it eliminates the arguing with the one person who doesn't want to comply. But I went out. I haven't gone out since Friday. I went to the store and I drove by a restaurant. I wanted to pick something up. It's closed. So they're starting to close because if you don't have the money and you don't have the money coming in, people aren't going to buy the product.
No, I get it, man. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Like it's a bitch, and I somewhat. I mean, I understand that you have your wife to. You need to be worried about. I'm in a different situation, but I keep thinking of it. Mark probably has heard me saying this like 4 times already, but like my girlfriend is a nurse, and and I think she's willing, like we just talked about it today, and she's completely willing to keep working and whatever. But I've been telling her like, well, if you change your mind, like maybe we can get by with my salary and everything, because you don't know how this is gonna, what this is gonna turn into. And she was telling me that in her hospital, like even the lobby, they turned it into this area full of beds because there's so many patients, like, and that they just told her in the hospital that this week and next week is gonna get so much worse. It's scary times, man. It's
right. That's it. It's, well, thank your wife, on behalf of people in Massachusetts, the healthcare workers, the grocery workers, those are the soldiers in this war,
Yeah, man,
they are.
It is. Yeah.
So,
right. No, absolutely. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a tough situation. Everybody, I'm telling you how, but I'm not complaining about it. It's one day at a time. It's happening to all of us on the planet on a global scale. It's not like it's just one person.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I just saw a video of, I was in Cartagena, Colombia in December, and the place was packed. Like, everybody's dancing every day of the week. Everyone's partying. That place was packed. I saw a video of somebody going down the streets with like a car, and there was not one person. I was like, damn, that's fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So it is officially all over the world, right? Like in Mexico, it's embarrassing, man, because the president just didn't take it seriously for so, and I really don't think he still does. But they finally, everything has to started closing down in Mexico City, and it's the same thing. That the thing is, people don't care, and so like apparently it is definitely not as crowded, but my mom and my friends are telling me that people are still out and about, like they don't give a crap. It's gonna hit hard in there, man. So
it's tough. So I was born in El Salvador.
Okay.
So I was watching. I have family that lives in El Salvador, and they post things. And I watched the president of El Salvador give a speech to his cabinets.
Oh,
and I'm like, okay,
that.
yeah. So right, so you saw that, and I was like, at first I'm like, all right, so what's the deal, right? And it's funny because I guess we live in the U.S. We're as messed up or as divided as we may feel we are at the moment. We're still privileged to live here.
For sure.
You know what?
More vegetable.
The president said something that I didn't think about before. I'm like, why is his reaction to it? He jumped, locking everything down a month in advance before the rest of the world did, right? He was really like on top of it. I was like, why is he being extreme? And then he said it, something I didn't think about. We are not a superpower, he told his cabinet. We have limited resources. The superpowers of the world have proven to struggle with this disease, this pandemic.
Damn.
And he goes, remember, when they find the cure or they find the vaccine, the first 100 million, 200 million, 300 million is for them. I'm going to have to go fight for some of that for us. So then I realized that, like, we're waiting for the cure, right? We're waiting for the vaccine because we're all get it. And then you realize, like, that's why they take it so serious. Just because we get the vaccine, it could be years before we share it with the rest of the world.
Man, that's an eye opener. But honestly,
you lost your audio.
Who?
Oh,
Daniel.
Oh. Sorry. That was my bad. I think I muted it on accident. Oh, thanks, Chris.
Damn, that's crazy to think about. Like, I never really thought of it that way.
Right. So that's what I was like, why is he overreacting? Well, it's simple. Because tomorrow, if we find the vaccine, we're going to prioritize our society so we can get back to work, get the economy going, get life going.
Right.
But we're not going to share it until everybody in America has it. We're not going to share it with El Salvador, with even Mexico. We're not going to share it. It's probably going to be down a list of priorities. Like, how important are you to the rest of the planet? That's how it's going to go.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that is an eye opener, man. But at least I think that the reason I've seen it and a number of people have seen it is that that shows extremely good leadership. Like from the president. I mean that had to be a difficult choice, and I know that he did waive payments on rent and electric bill and a couple of things for 3 months or so. I mean, dude, we could only wish in Mexico really that not that they would have waived that, but that there would have been like a proactive response, that they would have said like, yeah, take this seriously and whatever, like,
right.
So it's one thing for the other, man. But I'm sorry to hear like that is also bad in your home country, you know.
Yeah, that's the reality. Like I said, it's there's I guess that's something you don't think of because we are privileged to live here. So it's until I heard those words, I was like, that makes sense. You know,
man.
We're just waiting. We're waiting for them to figure it out tomorrow, and then we're like, oh, they found a vaccine. We're good. Within a couple months, everybody gets it. The rest of the world, depending who you are, it could be a while.
That's the thing, man. A vaccine doesn't cure you if you have it. It just makes it so you can't get it.
Right. So
by the time that vaccine really comes out, 3/4 of, or whatever the numbers end up being, 40% to 60-70% of Americans will already have had it.
Right.
Like this will be the first year we're kind of screwed, no matter what. We're hopefully now the only thing that Trump said that he didn't say on purpose, but he did say like, oh, the heat kills it or something like that. But I mean, it's going on in all places that are hot right now, right? So it's not.
No,
it's not necessarily.
They had explained that like it was a. Man, I don't remember. Like, I saw like a virologist explain that why in countries where it hit first in countries that had winter, but it had nothing to do with the weather. It was just it's just the fact. Sorry, what? Okay, I'm coming. Just 1 second. Sorry about that. It was. I remember now. It was just that people in. Man, no, I don't remember. I'm sorry, guys. I ruined that. But like, I'm going to check it out because I remember having that same discussion. People were asking me the same at work. And then I saw it. And there's like a logical explanation for it. But it has nothing to do with what happens to the virus in hot climates. It survives in the cold and it survives in the cold. You know, I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
Yeah. Guys, give me just 1 second. I'll be right
sure.
back. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm talking to somebody from Guatemala right now on my WhatsApp. I tried to get him to join, but I'm not even sure if he has like good internet or not.
Right.
But I met him once. I just met him at an airport, and I talked his ass off for like 2 hours during a layover, and we just stayed in touch a little bit. That was on our way back from Colombia. Colombia was awesome, man.
Yeah, I saw you. You went with Jackie, right?
Yeah, Jackie and my girlfriend. Yeah. Can't believe Jackie got out of the country. She thought that her U.S. ID, her driver's license was good enough because it's like the new ID, the new ID law. I'm like, Jackie, that's so you can go from state to state. Like, no, that's so you can actually.
Passport.
She's like, no, it's like my passport now. The world accepts it. I'm like, no, they don't.
No.
Like, yeah, they accept it, like, but not to get into the country. They might accept it for if you want to rent a car in another country. You need both.
Right. Yeah. I think its purpose. Well, that was from the Bush era. It's so that it shows technically. So it's supposed to. One of the things it's supposed to have done or will do is, if law enforcement pulls somebody over, you know their legal status and eliminates having to question and get into all of that. But yeah, we know how that goes. What street corner that you buy this on is going to be the question that'll be formulated from that experience.
Yeah, anything could happen nowadays. That's for sure.
Yeah, everything's. Yeah, man.
Maybe I should hit up Anthony Paralisi, see if he wants to join in.
Okay.
I didn't really invite too many people or anything because I think I figured we were just going to mess around with your settings first and see.
Yeah, things I've learned. I can't mess with the settings on Hangouts while I'm on this. Have you tried it? Does it cut out your volume? I don't know.
I've tried it before and it worked. I'm afraid to try it.
Right. Could it just be an update?
What you said.
Right.
Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, no worries.
All good.
Man, I'm curious now. Like, I need to find that information on why the virus works in or why the difference between climate and the expansion of it. But let me see.
Yeah, you can Google it.
Right? Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Man, I got a new keyboard when I got my new desk set up, and it is so quiet, so much better. I'm in love with it, man.
I use the keyboard I use is the wire one that Apple used to sell. It's like the original one. That's what I use.
Is it any good?
It is like I like it because it's the wire one and it has the numeric pad on the right side. I like the numeric pad where to punch the numbers in.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's the sole purpose of it. Because the one that it ships with the wireless ones that come with the Macs, I don't like them.
Oh,
They don't have
sorry.
that keypad.
Oh, okay.
But I have that keyboard, Mark, that you use because again, I'm an impulse buyer. So like
Jeez.
somewhere, I have that one so you can put an iPad, an iPhone, and if I'm on the road, I can use one or the other.
It works great for me because I can swap between my PC and my Mac. And my PC, I'm not allowed to have Bluetooth. So it also does the dongle, the wireless USB.
Oh, okay.
Can you show it in your camera?
The actual keyboard?
Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's hard. Oh, wow.
It's flat.
And that's why it has that lip, right? So you can put an iPad or something on it.
Yep, and it's solid. It's pretty heavy,
Yeah,
which is good.
I
It's
have
got
that
the-
one.
But I switch between devices with one button. Just you don't need like a KVM switch or whatever it is, or any like USB switches.
How much was it, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, it was like 40 bucks or something, or 50 maybe at the most.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It's solid, man. And so it switches between. I have it right now connected to my work computer through the USB dongle, which I'm allowed to use, sort of, and Bluetooth, my MacBook, and my phone. Which I don't really need it for my phone because my MacBook has all my messaging on it and emails. Like, why would I use my phone if my computer's right here?
Right.
Right. But that's something only the Mac people can say, or Apple people, without third-party apps.
Mark is an Apple fanboy. Yeah.
I became one. Yep.
Yeah, I gotta say I've been a fan. I've been an Apple guy since 2004.
Oh, really?
And that's when I bought my first Mac. My Mac. Wow, when they had what they call iBooks back then, the white clamshell ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I'm about 4 years in on an iPhone, maybe 5, but only 2 years in on the MacBook. I'll never go back though. I'm never going back. There's no question for me.
I mean, you can if you really want. I don't even use it anymore, but I had Windows on my iMac on Parallels in case I needed it, but I don't use it anymore.
Right.
I try to, like I said, I like to mess with tech, so I do have there's a Windows Surface book somewhere around. Like a while ago, I got just to check it out, and I kept it just to mess with Windows to keep update with the.
Yeah.
So it's some familiarity. So if you ever have to use one, you're not kind of completely lost on it.
Yeah, I think it's important to know the basic. I can barely defend myself on Mac. Not by any means. I don't know much about it at all. But I think it's important to know both platforms a little bit. I was telling Mark, I don't know if I told you this, Mark, or if it was to another friend of mine, but I had an intern this summer. He came from private school, and granted he was not really ready to be an intern because he was just about to enter college, so he had not even started college. But the point is, man, it shocked me. He had never used a PC before in his life.
Damn.
Yeah, and it was just really crazy, like certain things like that I noticed. For one, he didn't know what, the computer that he had was a desktop, and so he didn't have internet, and because the IT guy just kind of set it in there, so I'm like, just plug it in and it'll be ready to go. And he asked me that. Then he's like, I have no internet. He's like, did you connect the Ethernet cable? And he's like, what cable is that? And he's like, the Ethernet, like for the internet.
Damn.
And he's like what? Can it just catch the Wi-Fi? I'm like, no, like a lot of computers, you have to plug them in. And he's like, oh really? Like I thought everything was through Wi-Fi. He didn't even know that there's such a thing as wired internet. Like he had never experienced that before. And
Really?
yeah, man. And I asked him, like, do you know how to use PowerPoint? And he said, yeah. I figured, probably knows the basics, like they learned the basics at school or whatever, but he didn't know how to open PowerPoint or Word or Excel or anything in Windows. He couldn't find them.
Crazy.
Yeah, man. Like it's different times. You know?
Yeah.
You know what's crazy though? He's got like another like 45 years of working on a PC probably ahead of him, so he'll have to figure it out. Think about it. Like I've been working on them for work since day one.
Yeah.
But really before actual work, I mean I was lucky. I had one since I was like 12 years old or 13 or probably 12 or 11. I don't even know. Damn.
Right. So that's what it is. It's like
second
right.
nature.
Some people started later than others with these things. That's all.
Yeah.
But damn, learn some shortcut keys and and when I need to help you with something, just get out of the chair and let me get in there and do it for you. You can look over my shoulder if you're that interested in learning, but most likely you're not. So get the hell out of the way.
Man, and it is that like my dad was. I know that has changed even like now in. For example, like for Windows, you don't have to input your password. You can just select a pin in order to boot up your computer, and it's faster, right? Or if you have a digital print reader or whatever. But like, my dad was, recently told me, it's like, man, like I kept trying to log into this place, and I didn't know. Like I had the, in the keyboard the numlock key pressed.
Yeah.
So he was not really inputting numbers. Like he was just inputting something else. Stuff like that would never happen to us probably, because like it's happened at some point like way many years ago, and like now we know like to try it. But when you're first learning, like it is frustrating, man. And the little things that everyone should know, like Control-C and Control-V and all that stuff. If you don't practice it like you don't know, it can be frustrating for sure, man. So I mean I get it.
I do get it. Yeah. I get frustrated switching between the two because Control on a MacBook is really the equivalent to the Command button, and it's where the Alt button is on a PC. And I'm like, dude, come on now.
That would mess me up a little bit. But
it sucks switching.
But the keyboard that you're using, it is formatted for Windows, right?
It's formatted for either one. As soon as I switch, it switches automatically to MacBooks. So my Command button becomes Command when I make the switch.
Is it labeled both ways though? So is it labeled like, does the Command button have the Command written on it plus the Alt feature on it, or?
Yep.
It does.
Yep.
Okay.
You used to have this one, right, Mark? This is the one you have.
Oh, I hate that. I've got one. You want one? I can mail it to you.
Dude,
I took the batteries out.
I would love to, man. Honestly, I actually love it, except for how loud it is.
Clickety clank. Yeah. You can't have don't have a microphone around when you do that one.
Yeah. No, that's why you guys were not able to listen to me earlier. Like I mute it when it's with that one because it is so loud. You're right.
I hate that keyboard with a passion.
Do you really? I really like it.
I use it at my work. It's not so bad, but at my house, I hate it.
Interesting.
It has the old traditional feel though, like the big keys we used in school.
Yeah, the old traditional feel of like a typewriter. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Mechanical one.
I used the old. Oh my god, this Mac one. They don't make it anymore. Well, they make the newer version, but it looks like the current version of the Mac for the iMacs. But this one's got the it's aluminum, and it has the USB ports extensions on the side, so you can add a device. It's 1.1. That's how old this one is.
Damn. I will say that the new MacBook Pro keyboards do suck. Like that damn butterfly, whatever
the butterfly mechanism on them.
It's pretty awful.
I keep hearing Rogan always talks about how horrible it is. Like
I just can't get used to it.
The new ones are supposed to be. They're doing away with the new ones. The new ones don't have the butterfly mechanism. But like I have a 2016 MacBook Pro. I've yet to bring it to the store. But my we already brought it twice, and now that they're closed, one of the keys is like lit up brighter than the rest, and you can't adjust the brightness on them. But they fix them for free. But it's the butterfly mechanism on them.
Oh yeah,
it's a job.
Right. Hey man, so let me ask you on that. So with the Raspberry Pis, and you made some arcades, like, did you just install some emulators in it and kind of connected some joysticks, or how?
Right. So what I did was, in my job, I meet lots of different people. So I met a guy. I was fixing his pool table, and he had an arcade machine in the garage. And I'm like, he was cleaning out his house. He was putting the pool table in, getting rid of other things. I'm like, what are you doing with the arcade? He's like, I'm throwing it away. The monitor doesn't work. I'm like, I'll take it. He's like, yeah, go ahead. It looked awesome. Like, he took well care of it. But it was an Atari one, so it had 60 games on it. So I came home. I gutted it all out. I bought a new monitor, a flat screen. It had those big, the Jumbotrons that we used to use back in the day.
Yeah.
And what I did was I went to this website, arcade.com. I have it written down. And I went through all these files. So different people who are more techie than me in that sense coded these programs together. Like they come preloaded with the emulators.
Yeah.
And they come preloaded with the games. So I found a good one from a guy in Brazil made it. I loaded into the Raspberry Pi, and then I bought the buttons and the joysticks.
Yeah.
I hooked them up into the Pi. I programmed it all, drilled new holes in the machine, and I was playing Mortal Kombat 2, Street Fighter,
That's
all
pretty
those.
sweet.
And then it had all the Atari games up to PlayStation 1. Well, it had the PlayStation 1 emulator. The games for PlayStation 1 were
That's when it starts getting kind of iffy because the PlayStation 1 games start getting big file games.
They need more RAM and more. But that was using the last Raspberry Pi, the Raspberry Pi 3B Plus. Now they have the 4 with more RAM and stuff on it. I haven't tried those, but yeah, it was pretty cool. I was sitting in my living room, like playing video games, like if I was at the arcade.
Man, it blows my mind because I've never done something like that. I think it would be a super fun project. But it is crazy to me. Like I have a folder with the a repository, same thing that someone put together with all the SNES and the Sega games and everything. And like it'll be like 300 meg file. Like I mean,
yeah, it's not that
a full game. Like a Metroid or a Mario, which has music, has like it's long. You can play for hours. It's smaller in file size than a song.
Oh yeah, some of the Nintendo games were like 2 megabytes or something. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then all the Atari games are like 300K, like kilobytes. Yeah. I don't know if I have it here. I made one. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see that. That's a Raspberry Pi in here. Yeah. This was my prototype one, or this is my test one. I used this one on my monitor on my desk. To check out the emulator, to make the buttons, to check, settings I want, and then I transfer the SD card into the machine where the other one's already mounted. But to play this one, I used an old Nintendo Wii U controller, because these things have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and I plug it into the computer, and I sit here with a wireless controller playing the games.
Dude,
so I programmed that into it, so you could mount this in the back of your TV on the wall.
Yeah.
Now you can use any Bluetooth controller, your favorite PlayStation one, and sit across the room and play Mario on it if you want.
No, that's pretty sweet, man. I've been wanting to get a Raspberry Pi for a while. I know that you can do so many things. Like just, the possibilities are endless if you know kind of what.
Right. Oh yeah. You want to. We were talking about it with Mark earlier about a Drobo. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Mm-mm. It's a hard drive. It's a server. That, I use it for storing movies and central backup system in my house. It feeds into my router and it's access to all the computers I have. And it's just like a background server for files. It's just a big jumbo thing. It has like 15 terabytes on it.
Oh wow.
I bought that years ago. But you can take a Raspberry Pi, download a NAS program on it, and plug in 4 external hard drives and do the same thing. And it's redundant. You can check like the Drobo. If I pull out a drive or a drive dies, the other drives, you don't lose any of the information. It's automatic.
Right.
Yeah. But you can make one with a Raspberry Pi if you have a bunch of hard drives yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have,
Man,
you can make.
Like you said, maybe that might be one of the projects, man. I always keep finding an excuse not to do it, but maybe now is the time. Now that we
you take 3 or 4 good hard drives, plug them all in, and plug in your Ethernet port into a router, and you can just use it as a central backup system in your house.
Right. Yeah. I have a cloud hard drive, and I think Mark has a. You don't have a cloud hard drive, do you, Mark?
No, I tried to plug my thing into my Verizon wireless router / modem, and it has a port for USB, but it doesn't do shit.
Did you ever figure out what that was for?
No.
I'm sorry, what was that for?
Hard
drive?
It has a USB port, but I guess the only way that you can make a hard drive well, maybe not the only way, but the hard drive itself should have some mechanism in it to actually make it into a whatever it's called, a NAS or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
So I couldn't just plug in my regular hard drive into the USB port of my router thinking that it was going to work. It didn't work.
Yeah, a lot of those USB ports, like I use in my house, I use Orbi, the mesh router system. So there's one here in the office, there's one in the first floor, one in the garage. But those USB ports, they don't do anything. They're one of them, I use it to power. I have a Fire Stick on the TV that needs additional power. It feeds off of that port. It doesn't serve a purpose. They didn't turn them on for hard drive sharing.
Sucks.
Yeah. So what I use for that is, like I said, I have the Drobos. The Drobo feeds into the network because it has a gigabit port, and then I have a secondary Drobo that's a USB 3 one I bought. It was less money, so I bought that one. Same capacities. You put the drives you want. And I use Plex Server. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Plex Server.
Yeah, I use it with PS4.
I have a Mac Mini in the garage hooked up to like 10 terabytes of movies, and that feeds, and then I use the Mac Mini doesn't have a monitor. I remote control that. Yeah. And it shares the other USB Drobo through the network. So it acts as a server as well. Yeah. So that's how I use it.
That's a sweet setup, man. Do you torrent your content or what?
I use news groups. So they're not torrents. They're So I've been doing this for years. A buddy of mine set me up a long time ago. It's a news group. It's all like some of the movies are usually get them like 3 weeks before they come out. So somebody comes in possession of the fee, somehow gets a possession of the fee, and then you download an MKV file. So they're like, the movies are like 20 gigs, depending on what you get.
Right.
And they're compressed into an MKV shell. When you play it, it's high quality 4K stuff. Yeah. So I use a news group.
Only VLC plays MKV, right?
VLC plays MKVs. Yeah, I use that. That's what I use for on the Mac. That's what I use. But I use a lot of them. I watch them through Plex. So Plex converts automatically.
And not to just on that. So can you tell me what's the name of it again?
What I used to. It's a news group. So there's multiple. They're called
news group.
Yeah. Let me see. Like if you go to gingadaddy.com, that's where you find the feeds. Essentially, they're torrents, but not really. They're broken up into like 80 parts, and they feed from different parts of a network. You use a secondary program, NZP, and that puts them together. And then, so it's a process, but once you set it all up, it's automated.
Right.
Yeah, and it goes through a VPN. I use a server that's a VPN, so it never comes back to me.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to get your information from Mark or something later, man. I don't think I've ever done that before, but I'd be interested. I torrent everything, and it works absolutely perfect for me.
I haven't torrent anything since Pirate Bay went down. Like, that's how long. I don't know if Pirate Bay's still a thing.
It was a thing till like a week ago. So it's gone down a couple of times. Then it came back with power. Went down. It was. I still have been using it for a long time, and then for the last week or so, I haven't been able to access it. But I use this Bulgarian website that does the trick perfectly.
All right.
But yeah. Yeah, like I said, maybe for another time, but I'm definitely going to have to pick your brain on a couple of things.
Yeah, I'll help you out with it. Like I said, I usually do movies. I mean, it's so advanced. There's another program my buddy just sent. I haven't tried it yet. It's called Couch Potato. It monitors the network for stuff. Yeah, it monitors the network for NCB. So like, so I share my Plex server with him.
Yeah.
So what I add on it, he can see what he adds on it. I can see him. He does a lot of shows.
Yeah.
I don't do shows because I actually subscribe to like my daughter likes Disney Plus. We have Netflix. We have Amazon Prime. We have Hulu. So it's like I do it for the movies. Like all the movies that were in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're not watching this, right? I have them. Like Bad Boys for Life. Like I just installed that. So like you'll watch that. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
Who did we just get on?
That's me.
Oh, we got somebody else.
Anthony?
That's me.
I'm Daniel.
Oh shit! I thought I could recognize that beard a mile away, but I thought you were. I have a lot of people that have beards in my friends zone, but they're not from America. So I thought you were like Ravi or Raju or somebody. No offense. I mean, there's like a lot of Indian friends and.
Why would I be offended by that?
That's a good question.
So how do you know Mark?
Mark and I grew up together in Haverhill, Massachusetts back in the day.
All right. And you're in Massachusetts right now as well?
Oh, yeah. No, I still live in the same house that he used to walk to. We go back and forth between our backyard pools.
I gotcha. All right, man. Well, nice to meet you.
You too.
So what's next, Mark?
Oh shit! Yeah, I guess I'm controlling now. Well, hey, do you know Juan? Do you know Juan Sandoval? Oops, I just said your last name. I guess that they're gonna come find you now.
Yeah, it's cool.
No, it's nice to meet you both.
Likewise, man.
Do you live in? Well, do you still live in Haverhill, Juan, or do you live in?
Oh yeah, I live by I don't live far from where we used to live, Mark. I live by Constantino now.
Okay.
Closer, like up the street, like I can look out the window and almost see Constantino. Oh,
That's where I teach.
What do you teach, man?
I teach civics
Oh, man.
where do you teach civics?
at Constantino School.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I'm a little side street. If you're going up, coming from Bubbles towards the school,
Yep.
you pass Bartlett. You go, the Bartlett School.
Mm-hmm.
You take that right, go up the hill. I'm like the second street on the left.
Oh yeah,
Oh, great.
I go-
Now they know my name and they know where I live, Mark.
Yeah, I know, dude.
Come
Anthony
on.
missed out on what you were talking about though before.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on.
It was
so-
straight up like every single possible way you could possibly stream content, download
Yeah.
movies, and torrent shit. I'm just like, damn, dude.
Yeah. This is some.
But I am streaming this, just an FYI. Not that anyone's watching.
There's people watching, but I don't know who's watching. Anybody?
You know, it doesn't tell me who. It just tells me the
says-
number.
Probably us. The three
Dave?
people that are on.
Yeah. Dave was on there. I wasn't trying. I mean, so really, we were just trying to figure out how to get Juan hooked up with all this gear that he's got. And then I figured, might as well make a thing out of it. Drink beer and talk about some subject.
Yeah.
But
Actually,
we
let
talked
me
about.
let me run for a minute. I'll be right back.
All right.
All right, let me bring. I have some of the questions. If you guys are down.
Sure.
Let's see. What's the weirdest way you've ever earned money? Oh, one second. What's up, Bill?
Mom told me that you need to approve of this because I want to download this.
Okay, I'll approve it right now. Okay.
Okay.
You got it.
Sorry, it looks like we lost Anthony and Juan for a minute.
Oh, what happened?
I don't know. Oh, we had to take a call. Oh, good break.
Let me see.
Should we invite your cyber group? Just for the heck of it or no?
Who?
Should we invite your little cyber group or no?
Why not? I don't know why they would. I'm doing it right now, Bill.
All right, I'm back.
That's one.
You guys ever drink Haiti Topper?
No, man, is that pretty good?
Yeah.
You have, Mark?
Yep.
It's supposed to be like the #1 double IPA on the planet.
Oh man, I don't.
They sell it in Vermont and only in Vermont.
Is that hoppy as hell?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I gotta get into
I
the
love
hoppy
it.
again, man. It's like an acquired taste. Like I can go in 6 months is my favorite, then I hate it. Like I don't know, but I have to try that one. So you can only buy it in Vermont, or it's only made in Vermont?
It's made in Vermont, and you can only buy it in Vermont. You have to now they're selling it. It used to be direct from the brewer used to sell it to certain parts of the state, and there was a list, and they literally sell you a 4-pack. So you drive 3 hours to Vermont,
Oh wow.
and there was no guarantee you were going to get one. Now you can drive up to Alchemist, who's the brewer. You can look on their website. It's a 3-hour drive, both 6 hours, 3 hours each way, and but you can look at the website and they'll tell you how many you're allowed to get. So if it's worth your time, you go. If not, you don't go.
Right.
It was either Anthony or Tony Buggiato that sent me some, or I got some from, because I've had that beer before.
Oh, I think I sent you some Heady Topper.
Pretty sure it was
there you
you.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love going to the Alchemist. Portland is great too because you can get there and back in a lot less time and going
Yeah,
to Bissell,
3
Bissell
hours.
Brothers. Yeah.
Versus the 6-hour trip up to Vermont.
Yeah. Now, have you been to Bissell Brothers has a second location way up in Maine in Milo. That's a smaller place, and they do a lot more experimental stuff. That's a really cool spot, and there's never a line like at all those other, at like the regular place or all the like the tree houses and the Alchemist and all.
I
that.
haven't been to the Treehouse. That's down by Sturbridge, I think.
Yeah, it's in Canton.
I haven't done that.
That place is insane. Right now, you have to pre-order online, and they'll deliver it to your car window. But they sell out by like within an hour of releasing the information.
The thing. Yeah, no. I recently went to. If I have a job, so sometimes I do online companies and stuff. So if I get a job in Vermont, I'll make sure that's I go up there. I do the job and spend all the money on the beer. That's what I end up doing. And then for winter vacation, we went. Well, it wasn't really for winter break with my daughter. We went up to Canada, so I drove by both ways on the way up and on the way down and picked up stuff. So
very nice. You have 2 daughters, you said?
One
daughter. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
What's something you guys? For the 2 of you that are here, there's this. I guess everyone has a drink, so I might be the only one that doesn't. But I have this list of questions. Some of them are easy to answer. Some of them are not. If you're willing to answer, great.
Sure.
If you're not, you gotta take an honest big drink. All right. So
Or whatever you have.
let's see with this one. What's something this one is easy, so it's a good starter. What is something would make you a better person, but you just don't want to do it?
Go to the gym.
I think that's for everyone.
Well, that's for damn sure for me.
Go to the gym for me.
Give me 1 sec. I think that's for everyone. 1 second, guys. I'll be right back.
Make me a better person. Definitely going to the gym.
I'd say like actually read more books instead of just online content.
Same. I've been trying to get in that mode. I just freaking it's hard. I was trying to tell myself to produce more content or read more than I consume. So I consider reading as producing in my little life. But I was like, well, that didn't work for a day. I was like, yeah, you can either produce it and send it out to the world for them to watch or do or learn from, read books, and that's it. But it lasted like a day, and then I quit.
I read, like I'll do Flipboard. I go through all the news feeds and I try to read.
Sorry, guys.
At least one educational article. I don't know. I try I'll try to read a NASA article, something that. But yeah, I'm pretty bad about it.
Is that, you said it like about just reading more like
like an actual book.
Yeah.
No, that's fair, man.
I read a lot of articles. I read a lot of stuff that gets sent my way, but sitting down and just reading a book from cover to cover is, for whatever reason, to learn something new, to experience, to get a new perspective. That kind of self-growth I miss because there's just not as much time, or there's too much time, and I do too many other things with it.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
But do you have to kind of stay pretty much? I don't know. Maybe ethics is not something that you need to keep reading on constantly. But if you're a teacher, do you have to stay up to date with the newest books and materials, like to teach or whatever? Like,
yeah, we have. They call it professional development, and the district has to help us get some of that training and coursework, and then other work we have to do on our own outside of that. So,
gotcha.
There's a lot of reading that goes along with that, but most of that is online. So even then, you're not actually getting the book, and you're just scanning it, just like anybody else to just get the grade.
Right.
So it's really broad. It's still not the kind of reading. Like I just got a friend of mine gave me a book to read. It's called The Socialist Manifesto, and I've been reading that. It's by the editor of Jacobin magazine. But I'm still I've had it since Christmas, and I'm only like a third of the way through it.
Yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard.
Damn.
Yep. Did you answer already, Mark?
Probably drinking is one for sure. Like I think I'd be a better person. Drink more. I think I'd be more productive. I'd be extremely productive if I didn't drink. Like I'm thinking about all the shit but I like being social, and that's really a big part of my life. But I also think that I could be social in other ways, and I just don't because of drinking. So I know it sounds terrible to say, but it's true. I think everybody in their late 30s goes through this.
Yeah, no, I get it. That's all I'll say. I get it. All right.
Damn, Mark.
Give me 1 second, Dill. Let me see. And I would say the same, man. Like probably drinking, working. Not
all
just
three.
the same thing that you guys said, but seriously, those would probably be my answers. Let's see. What's the most selfish thing you've ever done?
That's a I don't know.
I was hard on the spot.
Yeah. I mean, you guys don't have to. We don't have to answer.
Selfish.
We just drink to that.
Oh, hey, I got mine, and she didn't get hers.
Wow.
I am sure that is not the most selfish thing you've ever done, but
that's the one I can think of right now off the bat.
Fair enough.
It's always good when you have a time excuse, though. Like, oh, well, I have to go to work.
Is that what works?
I have to.
Yep.
She's probably over there smirking and like, what a lying piece of shit.
I'm gonna go get myself a drink and then we'll move to the next one. I'll be right back, guys.
What's this? Oh, Dave chimed in. Did you see that? Called us dickheads.
Oh, yeah. He didn't get the invite. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, man.
Oh, he's over there hanging out with Jackie, after she went back and forth just to Detroit like 5 times during the shutdown and the social distancing thing. And, after, going to the beach and doing all those things. Now my brother's hanging out over there, going back to, where my mom lives. Like, it's just their social distancing is a little off in South Carolina. That's my rant. My first one of the night.
I'm the designated house leaver, so I go to the grocery store or the liquor store or whatever other stores that we need to go to. And I mean, I get it, but I still at the same time have a hard time not like. I stay away from people, and I haven't seen huge crowds, but I still don't I can't understand when people get angry at others for just doing whatever. Like, I get that they're stupid or they shouldn't be doing it or they're not following guidance, but the way I crawl up the walls, I'm amazed I'm not out there just ignoring absolutely every piece of advice because this is driving me insane. I don't know how much longer I'm going to survive this.
Yeah, I don't think that really people in some of the Midwest or the South Carolinas had any malice intent, but I think that it just takes them weeks to really get on board with some of the stuff that in the big cities you get on board pretty quick because of the social norm here is to do that. It is abnormal to hang out with somebody and you would be called out for it. Like your friends and peers would call you out on it. Down there, they would call you out for doing it. You know what I mean? It's the opposite. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm the same. I'm on the same boat. I'm the designated one. I go out. Like Anthony, I'm the one that goes out. I don't know if you've seen that on Facebook. The shows Kat Everness, is that her name? From the Hunger Games. And she's like, when you've been selected to go to the grocery, to be the tribute to go to the outdoors and, to go to the store. Yeah. The only thing I've noticed most people are pretty good. There's the social distancing when you go to the supermarket. But a couple of times I've been out and there's people with kids. Like my daughter wants to go. I'm like, no, you got to stay home. And then they're like running around. Like the parents are just letting them run around. I'm like, I know the kids are like cooped up, but like that's tough.
Well, I mean, if you get like 6 of your own kids, it doesn't matter. You can let them run around and spit on each other, and they're already infected.
Right.
But it's like when you see all the kids in the neighborhood, out on the play, playing in the street or whatever, and you feel bad that anyone should tell them not to.
Right.
Like it kills me that you're supposed to be like, oh, those kids shouldn't be playing together. What is wrong with their parents? And then you're like, oh wait, no, their parents are going insane, and this is worth the risk to them, because you know what? At the same time, you don't know that those kids have elderly people in their lives. Their family could be like, you know what? We're all going to get a little bit sick, and we're not going to infect anybody else. And that's only if these other kids are carrying the virus. So I think you can take a calculated risk too.
Right. No, I understand. I hear you on that.
Yeah,
that's the thing, is when people panic and like, oh, everything, blah blah blah. I dropped a package of blueberries when I was at the grocery store today, and it's so weird because like another lady helped me pick up the blueberries that fell out of the package, and then it was like this awkward thing where she's like, well, should I hand you these blueberries I picked up? And I'm like, yes. It's like, oh no, you're handing me blueberries. Like, guess what? Those blueberries came home with me, and I'm washing them.
That's it. You just gotta wash them. That's it. You gotta wash them. Like,
they were on the floor at Market Basket, and guess what? They came home with me, and I'm washing them.
You should always wash them anyways, because you don't know, regardless of what time. You have to wash them regardless of what's going on in the world. So it's cool. But
I mean, I just can't, like, they say wearing masks doesn't really do anything, especially if you don't know that you're infected. It's a waste of a mask, and yet everybody's going out and buying masks or making masks, and it's like the virus can get through any mask you have out there. You're only lucky if it's attached to a molecule of water that's going to be stopped by the thing you put on your face. So
yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, I tell my wife I could go out and and be in any crowd as long as I keep my 6 feet of distance and I'm not licking doorknobs, and I'm probably not going to come home with a virus. It's just that simple. Just don't lick doorknobs.
Right. Exactly.
Cheers.
It's like cheers. It's like a military safety briefing. Don't pet burning dogs. Don't eat yellow snow.
Don't do stupid shit. Yeah. Oh, Daniel's back. The party begins. He's got a drink in hand.
Yeah, that's right, man. And I took a drink for that last one, man. I'm sure I've done plenty of selfish shit, but I need to think over that one for a little while. If you do, I'm going to move into a little bit of a heavier type question. Let's see. What's the have you ever paid for porn? If so, how much money is in your bank budget?
Very rarely and very little. But yeah, probably. Yeah,
I would say just one time, like it was for a friend's birthday. We bought a 1-year membership, I think, for Brazzers to split like with it was one friend's birthday and another one was gonna turn his birthday was like the week after. But frankly, I had the username, so like it was also, I guess, a little bit of a present for me, and that was that was probably the only time. I don't think it's worth it, man. I don't think it's worth paying for something that's on the internet in abundance. So
I mean, I guess if you're like really into plot lines and you need to see how it ends,
if you need to watch the actual movies for their plot lines,
you need to know the story sometimes.
Right,
fair enough.
Definitely helps.
What about you guys? You, Juan, Mark?
I'm gonna go. Never have.
Yeah,
I've never. Yeah.
Damn. I don't. Not really. We'll call it that. I did pay for this one thing called Pal Talk, I think it was, way back in the day. Anyways, it was like kind of porn, but it was like where you can like not interact, but well, it was me, my girlfriend, and I at the time, and another couple, basically. And it was like you could talk to each other and swap shit. And I think I paid for that. I don't know if it was free or not. But either way, I wanted to bring up another story. I used to just go to Anthony's house at night and watch channel 96 and 97. He had the black box. His parents had the black box. And
nice.
They got that Scribbly channel that I used to schwack off.
Man.
I'm going too far.
You're going.
But his came in clear, crystal clear.
Back in the day, yeah, the black box was great. You get the Skinamax, all those channels, everything. You get the Spice Channel was the big thing.
I know
I remember that. That's what it was called, right? The Spice Channel.
It was called the Spice Channel. Yeah.
Holy smokes!
And
I forgot about that.
We had all because there was some guy downtown that had some electronic shop, and they had a D-scrambler, the black cable box that could get you every channel. And yeah, and so some channels weren't available until after 11 o'clock at night, but.
I don't know who's what. I wonder how many
It was a sad day when the black box stopped working.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I was born and raised in Mexico, but it was kind of there was always that channel that you used to watch with your friends for just a peek of a boob.
Right. Yeah. It would be all scrambled.
Yeah.
That one came in clear at my house, and for a long time, my parents didn't think we knew.
Really? Well, I mean, what you think that was kind of on purpose, like so that.
Well, because they were scrambling it to get HBO and Cinemax and Showtime. Like the black box was to get all of those channels. I don't think knowing my father, I'm sure he appreciated the free porn channel too.
Right.
that
wasn't the primary objective.
Right.
But when his parents would pull into that driveway, we'd switch that damn channel. Let's be on the lookout.
Oh, you could always hear the tires coming in.
Shit. This one's a little bit darker, but if you were to if you were to kill someone, how would you do it?
Depends who.
That's a good caveat.
Like if it's a girlfriend that you really don't like and you want to get away with it, I feel like you go hiking and like a big cliff, you just give her the push, because then like accidents happen. Like she fell off the cliff and you're pretty much good to go. But make sure it's good enough to like do the job.
Yeah.
Have you guys watched Tiger King on Netflix?
I haven't yet. No.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil it then, but you can buy a tiger.
Yeah, I've seen enough of the memes to know where it goes.
Right. God, man, that's a tough one. I mean, I would like to think that I would do it somewhere. So it would have to be like something with like something quick. I would not want to hurt anyone, but I feel like if you do it quick, it's gonna be messy. So you're gonna get caught for sure. So I don't know, man. Probably Mark was onto something there.
Well, that's the question. Are we trying? I mean, am I killing somebody in cold blood or in self-defense? If it's why am I choosing to kill?
Well, I think they just you have to assume you just have to kill them. Like it's not self-defense. You just have to kill them for whatever reason.
It's me or them.
Right.
Well, then it's whatever bludgeoning object I can find closest. I'm just going to start swinging and not stop until I run out of energy.
Yeah. Fair enough.
What I don't get is I'll let Juan answer here in a second, but when people like kill themselves like in a car with exhaust and like they die, or like they die in a house fire, they die before waking up. So like it's gotta be somewhat peaceful if you don't even wake the fuck up. Maybe, right? I don't know. But like when it comes to like lethal injections and like all this shit and electric chairs, like why not just like put them to sleep and then light a smoky fire and let them, or is that just a bad, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they wake up in the middle of sleep and they die.
I don't really know, man. I don't have any experience in this subject. It's kind of dark. It went dark.
Well, the last three guys I killed never woke up, so I'm pretty sure.
I just feel like people always say like, oh, they fell asleep and they never woke up because there was a fire or exhaust. And well, if you never woke up and it wasn't that bad, Well, of course you never woke up, but you know what I mean.
I
Maybe you don't.
I think I don't know. I think I would like to think that that means they didn't wake up on time to get out of there, but they probably woke up just a little bit too late and suffered like a hell of a death, you know.
Well, I mean, I think with the carbon monoxide, you just kind of fall asleep and
I was thinking
you
that,
stop breathing
but
So why are they
like
making it?
it's not. I don't think that.
because it takes too long. They use lethal injection because they can do it all in a certain amount of time. A lethal
Jeez.
injection, the very first drug they give you doesn't kill you; it paralyzes you. So
Yeah.
that the other drugs that they give you, you can't react to them physically, so they can't. You can't say that it. You don't know if it's cruel or unusual because the person is literally paralyzed and is unable to tell you what they're feeling.
Gnarly.
But it's
When the
supposed
next
to be
drug-
painful, though, right? Like lethal injection is supposed to be painful as fuck.
So,
But
yeah,
it's
I
not
mean,
so- by
there's no
design,
evidence to
it's
say
not-
it is or isn't.
Right. By
The first
design,
drug
it's not supposed to
paralyzes
be.
you. Right. You paralyzed first, and then your breathing is stopped second, and then your heart is stopped third. And those are three different drugs.
It's supposed to be on cruel, right? And
Yeah.
Not,
But,
yeah.
but who knows what synapses are firing in your brain and
Yeah.
you know what the
That's
heck's
crazy.
actually happening when you're paralyzed. But to everybody who they let watch, because you know they let people watch you get killed, it looks like it's peaceful and humane.
Dark question, man. That question was dark.
What do you got one more?
Do I have? I know. I don't.
Guess I'm a cruel motherfucker.
Dude, I don't know, man. You went descriptive on the last two. I don't know.
That was quick. I thought everybody would have this on the back of their head.
I'm sure, like, when I'm watching, like, Breaking Bad or something, like, I've thought about it, but I cannot think of an easy way, man. It must be hard to get away. It must be hard to get away with murder. You know? I don't know. I don't know. Anyways. Moving
It must
forward.
be.
So far, so good.
Easy question. Tell us about a time you got more wasted than was advisable.
Oh, jeez. Well, I don't remember them. So there they are.
Yeah, that was just too many, man.
Yeah, the military days for me are like, yeah,
Oh,
you drink a
yeah.
lot.
I mean, this was almost a year ago, but I got banged up pretty bad, and I was like the next day I woke up and I was upset about it because I knew,
Yeah.
and I felt really bad about it. And then I was like mad at my friends who I were with because you know like they shouldn't have let me drive.
Oh, jeez.
They shouldn't have. And I it worked out fine, but that doesn't excuse it. And I felt like garbage the next day. Not because I wasn't even hungover. It was like all anxiety and just like mad at myself.
It was the moral hangover.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was like genuinely upset that I made that mistake and nobody stopped me. So I'm obviously more mad at myself, but I was like, what the hell?
Yep. That's the worst
but then
type
again,
of hangover, man. For
again,
sure.
everybody got themselves home that night, so we all let each other down.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Are you talking about like the last time or the one of the worst or what was the question?
One of the worst. One of the
was
worst. Like, give us a good one.
Like you're talking about last weekend or you want a good one? I've been known to fall asleep a few times in a bush randomly on the way home. I just find a bush. I'm done. I'm tired. I just try to pass the fuck out right behind a bush in the middle of the city.
Right? You just lay down in a bush and call it a night?
I've done it a couple times. One time I found a mattress next to a dumpster and that shit was comfortable.
Oh, there's no way that's a good idea.
Yeah,
You guys
no,
watch-
man.
You guys watch Game of Thrones? You're like a Lord Tyrion drunk then.
Yeah.
That was back in the day when I was in Oklahoma. Jen found me. Don't get me wrong. I didn't sleep very long. That was St. Patty's Day. I got so drunk, started like, I don't know, 10 o'clock in the morning. Got so drunk. By the time Jen even got out to the bars, I was done. I'm done. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go find a place to sleep. And I just found like I didn't want to get in trouble. So like you can't sleep anywhere. So I found a good little nook behind I don't know what it was, a dumpster or some shit. But there was a mattress there. I don't think there was blankets. No, there was no blankets.
That sucked. You ran out on your bill, so I had to pay your bill.
Oh, and I ran out on my bill.
Oh man.
All the drinks you bought for those other girls you were sitting with when I got there.
Oh, I was sitting with like 9 girls or some shit.
Bought them all fucking drinks that I had to pay for, and I had to chase your fucking ass down. And it was like a $90 Uber to get home.
That was
man.
I paid her
Get
back.
a drink.
I paid her back 20 cents.
I think we should move on to a question where, like, you know, what's the nicest thing you've done for her, Mark, so we can remind her of why
I've
she's
ever
with you?
spent to go to a bar and have some of her drinks.
What's the nicest thing? The next question. What's the nicest thing I've ever done for you? Oh, shit.
I'm trying to help you out so you can get back into the green territory here.
Hey, wasn't that door supposed to be shut? Oh, wait, it's live on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
That's hilarious.
Well,
Man, I think for me, I mean, I already said this, but there's been a lot of them. One time I fell asleep in a pool, like I was floating, like I had a flip flop in my back. I don't know why I thought this was a good idea. Like it was just my nose that was poking out, and so like the cleaning guy thought that I was dead, and he like woke up all my Aldo and Paul, dude. Like he woke them up and he's like, your friend, like he's dead in the pool, and like I mean, like apparently like I was like that, like underwater for like a long time, just with my nose poking out, and obviously I was alive, and then finally like they kind of poked me, and like I reacted.
dude, that's pretty bad.
They finally poked me. So
Sleeping?
someone got a sharp enough stick.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Yeah. That one was, I mean, there's plenty, man. I fell asleep a couple of, in the subway. That's pretty terrible, man. But in the last one, this is live too. I fell asleep in the Green Line, and the Green Line closes at 2 a.m. and I woke up like at 4:30 a.m. So I was locked in, and so I literally had to like bang like the doors and like help, let me out. Like I mean. And I lost my cell phone, my wallet. Like, I mean, it's just one of those.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, dude, those are bad. And
How did you get out?
There was a guard that finally came and like they gave me a fine, and like he told me like you know, but I didn't get public intoxication or anything like that. Like again, I guess I was lucky. But after that, you know, like it hit hard. So that's why I did dry January, man, because I was like, I need a break from this shit, and. That's the one for me, man.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
I have
remember.
for me, I have one. This is an old one. Like I said, I don't drink like that. Well, when I go to my buddy's house, we all get together, but I don't get drunk like that anymore. But I remember we're in Hilo, Hawaii. We're sleeping the night at the port, waiting to get picked up in the morning. We're done with our exercise in Big Island, and I'm drunk. We're drunk. We're all drunk. Right? We're all drunk, just wasted. And I remember one of the lieutenants is sitting there, and he's like, "I bet you guys won't jump in the water because there's hammerhead sharks in the water." I don't know if it was true or not. So we're like hammerface. I'm like, "Yeah, I will, sir." And there I go, right? And as I throw myself off the pier, he's like, "Wait, you still have your phone?" And like, oh, my phone got destroyed, my wallet, and I'm swimming around. And he's like, "Get out of the water," you know? And I'm like, "There's no sharks in here." I don't know. I got out. Nothing happened to me, but I don't know. Like,
Damn.
yeah. And then I'm like soaking wet, top to bottom, hammer. And then I'm like, I mean, I remember the story, but I'm like, I'm just gonna go to sleep like that. It's Hawaii anyways. And I fell asleep on a bunk, like on a cot, just like soaking wet. The next morning, I'm like, sleep was going, and my phone's gone. It's destroyed. Just
again,
gone.
those are bad mainly for the moral hangover part of it. You know, like it's like the next day you feel like shit, but it's like that you feel just morally bad, man. It's just your honor is on the ground, and it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
We need to. Did Anthony answer? Do we wait for him?
I have to go to the wine spot and get some more wine.
All right.
I had a question that's off subject. Daniel,
Yeah.
you're sitting with the green screen. Is that what you do normally?
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, it is. And so, same. I'm streaming. There's absolutely zero viewers right now, but so that works. But I have a black background. I normally put a black background or a colored background, and so the green just lets me replace with whatever I want. That's what.
Oh,
That's the
all
reason.
right.
Yeah. Are you using OBS or anything like or?
No, like I said, I've been wanting to, and then Mark's like, "Hey, let's do this, man."
Yeah.
So I said I literally was like on a mad rush today. I have all the time in the world, but I waited to the last possible second. I'm setting stuff up. So I just downloaded the OBS.
Yeah, man, it's a good piece of software, man. I really.
So
really
you
like
just get a green background, and then and that's it. And then with the OBS, you can add whatever you want for a background.
Yeah, like so. For example, right now the video. I don't know if I can send you guys like an actual text. Yeah, I think I can. So, but well, I guess I cannot send you just text. But pretty much the way that it looks, if I had you guys on WhatsApp or on my phone, it says quarantine hangouts, and right now there's a picture of Anthony because he's the person that spoke. Now it changed to Mark, and on the other side it's me, and that's kind of what's streaming. Like it pretty much has a layout, and instead of the green, like I just have a black background.
All right, but you can make it anything you want.
You can make it absolutely anything you want, but like the more drinks you have, you start putting stupid things in the back, and so I've learned that to just put black and like try to not.
That's it. Yeah. All right. I'm looking. My wife's yelling at me because I didn't clean the office out, and it looks like a disaster. So she's mad embarrassed that I'm doing this, and there's a mess behind me.
You're good, man. There's not that you can tell for sure, man. But it definitely helps to be able to put whatever you want in the back, man. For sure, like.
Yeah, that's something I'll look into.
Yeah.
I got this tapestry hanging here because this is just a nasty basement wall. and I've been doing a lot of conferencing since being shut out of school, so
Oh yeah.
So you're not are you my daughter goes to she doesn't go to Constantino, she goes to Sacred Hearts.
Mhm.
Are you guys giving homework and work out to your students, or is it like she's getting daily assignments? We have to like fight her to do them because it's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing, and I think it's and honestly, I don't know how Sacred Hearts admin is doing things, but like you shouldn't go crazy trying to fight your kids to do this stuff because it's not real school, and it shouldn't be real school. It's a global pandemic, and you can't possibly recreate school with remote learning. And like I don't know how Sacred Hearts is, but like the Haverhill Public Schools are not equipped to convert everybody in the district to online learning in 3 weeks time.
Yeah,
there's
no way.
Let alone the one day we actually spent talking about it, because I'm the union president, and today was the first time they had a conversation with me about what their vision was going to be for this thing, and it is not the vision that we have, because at least not yet. We haven't made an agreement yet. So like teachers are doing all kinds of things, and no one wants to stop them from doing as much as they're comfortable with. But I mean, not everybody is comfortable getting in front of a camera and doing an online lesson, whether live or pre-recorded. And there's going to be a story in tomorrow's Boston Globe about people doing video conferencing with their students and other strangers jumping in because they got the link and posting like nasty pictures.
Oh
and,
no!
Or students just grabbing screenshots and then making fake pictures or memes and like harassing educators and things like that. So like, there's a lot of stuff that people are. Oh yeah, I had a teacher told me that she was doing a Zoom, or not Zoom, because that's even less secure, but she was doing Google Meets with her kids, Google Classroom Hangout with her kids. Yeah. And a third grader was putting up a middle finger emoji up on the screen. So like, how do you discipline a kid remotely? Like you go to your mom. Yeah. You go to the kitchen right now.
Damn.
Right?
Yeah, and on top of, like, we did get this message that said that it is important, to keep the kid on track and whatever, but it will not count, because at the end of the day, this cannot count towards your schoolwork.
Because it's not fair. Because if your kid's going to get an A because she or he did all of this work, but my kid has special needs and isn't getting the help that they would get in school, then it's not fair that my kid's going to fail and your kid's going to pass when they don't have the same thing. So again, it's like even our school is talking about giving grades as pass fail, and I don't think that's fair. Like, you even to say that somebody failed at an assignment that that a teacher was only able to put online,
right,
isn't really fair to the kid who might not have special needs, but still needs a teacher to like walk them through it and explain it to them, with like over their shoulder, pick up the pencil and do this.
Dude,
things that parents can't necessarily do.
On top of that, my sister is a child psychologist, and she said something like, it is a time to focus on, spending time, make sure that they're not like glued to the TV or anything, but stressed parents, which is what everyone is, because at the end of the day, it's a crisis. Stressed parents cannot teach already stressed kids, anyways. So I mean,
oh yeah, 100%. And we're not asking parents to become teachers. Like no parent is becoming like, we're not converting the whole country to homeschooling. Homeschooling is very, very different, and I don't like it for a lot of different reasons. But there are examples of it working when parents do it right.
Yeah,
this isn't homeschooling, and it's not online learning, because I mean, even online learning isn't what some people want it to be. We have a lot of PTO moms and dads who are very vocal and very connected, and they want their kids to have a teacher live on the computer. They love this, it's this bougie image, this white suburban middle class thing that does not actually reflect all of Haverhill, but they're the ones who have the ear of the people in charge.
Right.
And so they're just like, oh, well, we can do this. Kids can do this. We just give them a Chromebook and boom, they'll go online and they'll watch their teacher and they'll learn. And we've already proved that doesn't work. There are districts that piloted that and it failed. They were doing it to save snow days, and they proved that it doesn't work even when you do it once in a while because of the weather. Right. Never mind for 3 months because of a global pandemic shutting down your school system.
No, man, it's a bit of it'll be very interesting to see what happens, because it really is a bit of a situation, But
the way I'm looking at it, it seems like at this point, depending how long this goes, these kids just get a pass this year.
That's what they should get. They should
get a pass.
They should get a pass.
My daughter gets to work. These kids, like, she has a Chromebook. The school's obviously a lot smaller, and it just factors into the fact that you have to pay for it. So there's, like in public school, I was one of those kids that I had to go to school just because I needed to eat lunch. So like, we're a little more blessed in this situation where the kids that go to this school in Sacred Hearts, people who have means, a little bit more, right? So, at least the Chromebook is there. My daughter has a Chromebook. She went to school, so I bought her one when the time came. I'm like, here, I have one at home. It's just easier.
Right.
But in public school, I'm like, when I was a kid, I didn't have anything. So, like, if this happened then, just, even assuming we had the internet, fast forward to 2020, I'm a kid in that school system. Not every kid has the means. And the number one thing we have here at home is my wife is got a couple college degrees. She's highly educated. I mean, I don't have patience. I try to teach her. Like, my wife understands the material better than I do. And she's just, she has the capability to help her. But I'm like, does every home have that?
Nope.
Right.
I mean, we have parents who don't email us back during the school year, and we have kids who don't have those supports. Like, the fact that they come to school is all that they have. And we should be focusing on like just making sure that those kids are being fed and not being abused. Never mind worrying about whether or not they read a paragraph or wrote a summary. I mean, there are real priorities that come way before making sure that, so-and-so is still going to get, AP credit on their high school report card. And then so the good districts are basically just saying, we don't care what you do. We trust you to be professional adults, and we know that you're going to spend your time first taking care of your families and second taking care of your students. And then there are other districts who don't trust their educators and have this garbage mentality of, well, you're getting paid, so we have to justify it. So if we don't have
So
you
messed
know,
up.
an itemized list of like a checklist of that tracks how we spend our time, then we don't deserve to get it. We don't deserve to continue to be paid money that's already in the budget, money that's already encumbered. It can't be spent on anything else. It's the moral thing to do. It's your patriotic duty to not put 1,000 more people onto the friggin' unemployment rolls. Like,
Yeah.
my from where I sit, right, the school this is nobody, you know, it's nobody's fault. Nobody can control this. No one's responsible for this. This is just something we're dealing with.
It's true.
Right, and I agree with that. Teachers, and you know, this is like, now this becomes political, but like teachers are already underpaid, underappreciated. So let's just lose more of them to like let's put more stress out.
Mm-hmm.
Pay them. We already have the money. It's already there. The school system has to be on standby. You can't lose teachers to like, hey, I have to go work at, you know, if you can find a job in today's world. If tomorrow, you know, whatever, the universe throws us a bone and we get back to school at some point, these are, you know, what are you going to say? Well, 5th grade and 6th grade kids can't come back because we lost those teachers because we didn't pay them. What?
Yep.
It's you can't. Everybody's on standby. Like the whole world's on standby. Like that's it. That's what it is. And I like, you're right. As a taxpayer that lives in Haverhill, that, you know, has to pay taxes and that contribute to the school system that I don't use. I agree with that. That system needs to be in place. It needs to be in place. People need to be paid. We don't need to stress the rest of the world, you know, costing what? So all the school teachers are gonna, next thing you know, they're stressed. No, it's
right. And right now, and everybody is doing everything that they can within their comfort level and capability. So there's nobody who's just sitting around and just like doing nothing because they're still paying me, right?
Yeah.
And if they are, you still don't know what they're going through. Maybe they're facing anxiety or depression because they're cooped into their house. Maybe their kids, maybe they're not just sitting around being lazy, but their kids are very needy, and you know they've got 5 kids under 6 years old or some stupid thing, you know. And if their kids were in daycare, they could do work, but they can't do work because of the circumstances. So I don't think we should. I mean, everybody should just pitch in and do everything they can. And I think every employer should be required to just continue to pay their employees. And then next year's tax return, they just add it all up between March 12th and whenever this shit ends. They say, I spent this much money on payroll, and the government just cuts them a check and goes, yep.
You pay them, or you help them out until you run out of money. Like,
yeah, you help, and then we fix it. We make it right on the back end. But like right now, everybody just does everything they can until they can't.
That's it.
You know, and especially anybody employed by the government should be the safest. It's the federal government is the largest employer in the country. So
anybody that's employed by any form of government at this point should be fine. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, and then the government should be looking to pay back those companies that continue to pay their employees.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read into that the $2 trillion bill and like the incentives for certain businesses. If you take the money. You know, they're still working the details out. If you take the money, but you keep your employees till September 30th, you know, that's the timeline, and nobody gets fired, nobody gets terminated, nobody loses their job. There's loan forgiveness. You won't have to pay the government back because the government wants you to just keep people on the payroll.
Yeah.
But, you know, we'll see what happens. It's like anything else. Again, it becomes political. Like anything else, it's the rich we have to look out for. They're the ones that are always...
Eat the rich.
Yeah, the 1% is the one that's going to fire people because, you know, they're struggling because, you know, they're poor in their world. Their business are going to fail. So
you're right. Yeah, they're teetering.
Yeah, I'm self-employed. I have one employee, and you know, I'll do what I can until I can't do no more, and that's it. That's all you can do.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I mean, I have a tenant, and if she comes to me and goes, "Oh, I need more time, or I need a break a little bit," I'm gonna work with them. You know, it's just what you got to do.
That's what I've been telling my buddies. You know, we've been talking about it a lot, and I go, Wednesday is really the true test, I feel, of what's gonna happen, because it's rent day, it's mortgage day.
Oh,
it's like,
good,
you know,
point.
Right. That's when the snowball gets bigger and goes down the hill further and faster, because you have all these people, like you have a tenant, like, so now it's like, if they haven't worked, they're not getting paid and they have the rent. They're like, if I give you the rent, I don't have money to eat. So it becomes, and then that snowballs. Now you're like, if you lose your pay from the teachers, you're like, wait a minute, now you're not paying the mortgage. And then, so we'll find out on Wednesday, I don't know how long that's going to take to trickle down, and how many, the banks are going to be the ones reporting, hey, these people didn't pay the mortgage. There's people that buy housing based on like, I'm going to rent this apartment, and this is how I'm going to live in this home that I own. If they don't get the rent, they're not going to make the mortgage. And that's going to be the true test of where we are in the planet, in the country.
Yeah. It should be interesting. I didn't even think about it, man. I didn't even think
that's the true test, man.
Same.
April 1st. April 1st is when we find out how bad, what choice. That's when we're going to be sitting, people are going to sit there and go food or rent. And then I honestly think if you rent, you're not going to pay the rent, because the governor said it today. He said it. They haven't done anything because, again, we don't live in a socialist nation. We don't have a dictatorship, though it feels like it sometimes. They can't. The governor could say he doesn't have the authority to suspend payments of mortgage and all that.
No, but right now the courts are closed, and it takes at least 60 days or 90 days to be able to do an eviction. So really, you're just stuck. First of all, you're going to try to evict somebody right now, you're an asshole.
Right. So that's what the governor said today. Somebody asked him that. He goes, we're working in so many different options, points. Those are things that. I look at the stimulus bill that just passed. I listen to NPR a lot, and the talk is like 30% of the economy is going to shrink. $2 trillion is 10% or just under 10%. What really needs to happen is we need $6 trillion in stimulus packages, and we need reconstruction packages so that when unemployment hits, the government hires those people just like post World War II, and we rebuilt the nation. So like nation building projects. And,
we should have a new CCC and WPA and all that shit.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But, the governor said it. Back to the rent. He goes, the courts are closed. Nobody can evict you right now in Massachusetts. So that he didn't say don't pay the rent. He says people should pay the rent, but if you can't make it, don't worry, because we can't go to court and evict you, and nobody's going to evict you right now. So that pretty much green lights it to say you don't have to pay anything.
But it also has to go up the chain a little bit, because a lot of landlords are living paycheck to paycheck too.
That's what I'm saying. And that's my situation too. Like I need to, I rely on that money. I have one tenant. It's not like I own a 6-unit apartment building and I'm just cashing in on the profits.
Right.
A lot of people, most landlords, I think, are probably renting out to one person with an extra room or an in-law apartment or something. And there needs to be, some kind of relief for them if you're going to hold them to it. Because a lot of what they're saying too is, if you don't just pay the rent, you're not absolved from it. You just get more time.
Well, you get more time, and do you have to pay the extra fee? I mean, many places are like, if you don't pay on time, you gotta pay, $50 extra or something or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Those kind of things. And I mean, as long as I get it, I can make do. I don't need to charge somebody extra.
Right.
I'm not trying to punish people, but at the same time, it is definitely a reality, like you said, that people do rely on it.
And that's what I own a business. Again, it's a very small business. I have one employee. My quarterlies for my insurances are due. I have commercial insurances, so they're expensive. So I was on the fence. I'm like, I don't know when I'm going to get back to work. The phone stopped ringing weeks before the ban went into effect, because my job it's a recreational. I do pool tables. I'm the fun guy. You buy toys for your house.
Right.
So,
right.
I mean, I have to be realistic. I've had a couple people reach out in the last 3 weeks, but the phone used to ring 3, 4, 5 times a day. It hasn't happened in weeks, almost a month now.
Damn.
So,
yeah.
So, I'm facing a new reality. Am I really going to be a pool table company owner? I don't know. But I called my insurance because the quarterlies are due, and I don't want to spend the money because I don't know where I'm going. So they're like, oh, don't worry about it. We're not canceling policies for the next 60 days. 30 days, I'm sorry, maybe 60 days for non-payment. I go, okay, that's cool. So I said this. What happens if we open, the world, God throws us a bone, or whoever you believe in throws us a bone, and we can open up in 60 days, right? Is it all due on June 1st? That's the day, right? I go, so I didn't make money for 2 months.
Right,
the money I was going to pay you guys, I'm using it to feed my family. do I owe it all, or are we going to like spread it out over the remainder of the year and be like, hey, every month we tacked on, usually pay it every 3 months, but now we're going to pay it in the next 6 months, X amount of dollars, right? Or is it so the rent's going to be the same way? What's going to happen? Is it like you're like, hey, I'm not going to pay it, you pay me when you can, but in 2 months, these people, it's 2 months now. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So it's like, and then the insurance company was like, we don't know. We don't know yet. She goes, honestly, you don't have to pay it right now. We won't cancel the policies. We don't want to lose you as a customer. We understand that this is beyond anybody's control. Like she goes, we're living day by day. So like that's where the companies are at. Like
the insurance company should have gotten insurance for something like that.
They probably do. They probably do, man, and they get to double dip. They probably do. Yeah. So we'll find out. Wednesday is the test, and that's when we're gonna find out. Hey, this is
interesting times.
Serious.
Interesting times ahead, man.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
Damn.
That's where we're at. I'm sitting here, right? Like the mortgage is due. I usually pay it a month in advance, and this month I was like, I'll wait, right? So I have to pay it in 2 days, but really I don't have to pay it in 2 weeks, right? So then I'm sitting there going like, do I pay it or do I wait, right? Do I wait? Because again, it's money that I have there. So my backup plan, I have a survival plan because I'm self-employed for these situations. Like I always like, if I break my leg, if I hurt myself, I gotta have, right? But since we're in an unknown, I go, if I break my leg, 3 months, 2 months, right? Like, that's being optimistic, right? So I'm like, I'm going to hold off because I don't really have to pay it yet. And be like, does the government intervene at some point and goes, whoa, April 1st came, all these people didn't pay their rent, all these homeowners defaulted, like, do they do something? It's, it's a guessing game, right? It's an educated guess, I feel.
It is. I mean, it's just uncertainty in so many ways, man. And no one knows when this is really gonna, or the real impact of this. I don't think they're, so.
You know what else it hurts too is like, people always talk about like, oh, the bartenders, the hairdressers, all these service industry. And they're like, oh, well, you get paid what you normally get. Every one of them live off of tips. The tips are all under the table. Like you're not getting that tip back from the government. You know what I mean? You're going to get your $2.13 times what, 40 hours a week, whatever the hell that is. But not only that, what about, I think that they deserve it too. Like immigrants, like the ones that are illegal, they have been working their asses off and now they're not working. They're screwed. Like they're not going to get shit. And I know like people, I feel bad for them. I feel like we all know that we use the hell out of them for a lot of work under the table, and yet they're not going to get shit from the government, which I kind of get it. Don't get me wrong. I do get it. Yeah. But at the same time, they're human beings getting fucked over big time, which people can argue all they want about, like, well, they shouldn't have been here in the first place, but they've been serving you food for the past 15 years, dude. You know what I mean? Sorry.
Yeah.
That's
a stereotype, but it's a stereotype, I know, but
it's a moral question.
If they're working or they were working, they should get the same kind of help as anybody else.
But many times that's a problem, right? Like that there's no way to prove that they have been working sometimes. Like it'll be,
This is that's the thing when you're in a global pandemic is you don't need proof. It doesn't. If you show up needing help, you should just get help.
That's right.
Period.
That's
true.
right.
True.
Like
That's right.
I don't think we should be doing credit checks and background checks and fingerprint checks and it's already hard enough. An undocumented immigrant is already probably not going to stick his or her neck out in the first place unless they absolutely need it and they feel like it's absolutely safe to get it.
That's actually
you're right. They will only do it if they're desperate enough because they're
and only and even then they still might not unless they know that it's safe.
Right.
Unless they're told explicitly there's no harm that's going to come to you. And that's the part that's...
I think we're at the very beginning of a long road of things to come. It's day by day, even for the government, because we don't know.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Like I tell my wife, I'm like, hey, I know but we just got to relax. I take it. I had like a panic attack like a couple weeks ago, like by myself. And I was like, what am I doing? I have no control. It's just day by day, That's it. That's all we can do.
It's true, man.
Yeah. Telling you, Wednesday morning is going to be a new day.
There's a lag or whatever, so I think it'll be like 4 or 5 days after Wednesday when we really see it.
Exactly. Oh, well, I'm saying Wednesday will be a new day, but then we won't know. Right, 4 or 5 days, we'll find out where we're at with that, and then that's when we're going to be in a new reality where, hey, this is happening, and now you have to act. So in stages. Historically, we look at like things we've had to do. It comes in waves.
Mm-hmm.
It's a $2 trillion package out there because I gotta say this. Andy Vargas, our representative, put on Facebook, hey, if you're self-employed, you can get unemployment. So I went on the website and it didn't work. And then he's like, I reached out to him. He answered back right away. And he's like, oh, let me see what I can do. And then today he's like, just wait. And the governor answered the same question. The guidance on how we're going to do it, there's no rules. The money was signed off by Congress. The president signed it, but they don't know how to implement it. How are we going to figure out who gets what and how they get it? So we need to wait for that. So the $2 trillion stimulus is going to be, Mnuchin saying you'll get your check in 3 weeks if you're entitled to one, I guess, if you're going to get one.
If
we know
historically you're getting it, yeah.
Historically, we know that's 6 to 8 weeks away.
Yeah, if you can fill out that 20-page paperwork and get off,
right.
Hopefully you have a computer that can do it.
Yeah, that's the thing. So, right, and then it's supposed to be automatic. I mean, we're trusting the government to do paperwork on their own automatically. I was in the military for 4 years. I had to get shots 1 year 3 times because nobody documented it, So it's like...
If they end up pulling it off, it just proves that the whole IRS bureaucracy is complete bullshit. Because, like, in other countries, you just get, like, a little postcard that says, hey, we know this is how much money you made, and we know this is how much tax you paid, and we know that you either owe us or we owe you this amount of money. And then it's just done. You sign it, you're like, yep, good, and you're... And if that's how they can figure out who's getting $1,200 or not, then they could do that every single year and get rid of the entire tax prep industry, which
that'd be awesome.
Just exactly. It's completely unnecessary.
But the tax, the income tax, and all the complexity of it doesn't exist for you and I. It exists for those that can benefit from it.
Right.
That's why the rest of us are meant to go through jumping through the hoops of it. So, but they'd have to make 2 systems, one for us and one for the rich. So
they already have that.
Yeah, we just can't afford to pay for it, that's all. But hey, I'm going to sign off, guys. It was great talking to you guys. And then I look forward to doing it. This is the first night I do it, and it feels great talking to somebody, out there in the world and see how everybody feels and is doing.
Good, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
I'm going to spend some significant amount of time tomorrow working on how to turn my Canon DSLR into my webcam to improve video quality. And once I solve that mystery, I'll pass that knowledge along.
Good luck. Let me know.
And Mark, tag me on so we can all become friends on Facebook and make it easier to share and talk.
Yeah,
all right, man. For sure. I'll connect you guys.
All right. Hey, you guys have a good night, all right?
All right, take it easy.
All right, bye.
Take it easy. I'm going to sign off as well.
Yeah, I think it's also.
Yeah, it's been good, though. Good little chat.
Take care, everybody.
You
Later,
too,
man.
Anthony.
Well, let the real talk begin.
Man, it's just it's exhausting talk, like it's just I'm guilty myself. I cannot stop talking about it, but it's just truly like it. I realized today that I might be a little bit stressed about it. Like, I don't really have a reason to. I have a job, Kristen has a job, but like, man, it's heavy. It really is.
It's indirectly stressing people out for sure. Like, I mean, I'm solid. I mean, I'm not going to lose my job or anything, and I can work from home. But everyone has family or friends or something. Blah blah. Jen doesn't. She lost part of her job, one of her jobs, and then the other one she's barely working. But she has to work with an old guy that's always sick. That's fucking nasty. But somebody's got to do it. She's essential.
Yeah. Yep.
But I'm like, no matter how safe I am, she goes out every single day to work, or at least a few times a week.
Yeah. No, and you know, I've been lucky I've been lucky too because I do have to stay home because of Dylan and whatever, but I'm able to do it. And today I did go to work, for example. I was there till like 2 p.m. or something because like I had to go. But I have a good boss. He's been pretty supportive. I mean, again, I understand how lucky I am, and we are, right. But at the same time, like I don't know, like I think I'm a little bit worried about Kristen. Not that much, man, but like I still don't want her to get it, and I'm worried about the chance. Like, man, I'm in the production meetings with my boss and all the plant managers, and we're losing money like crazy, man. We're making half the money every month, half the money,
Oh shit!
dude.
So there's gonna be
Dude, that's millions of dollars going down
and
the drain. You know, like I mean, it's crazy.
and people are gonna be laid off. I'm sorry, like it's just gonna happen. People are
Yeah.
definitely gonna be looking how to recover from this because a lot of companies will win with the government. A lot of people will not,
Yeah.
and they're definitely gonna cut the bottom. You know, labor's the most expensive thing.
Yeah, man. Um,
But
Fuck, it's gonna be difficult, bro. It really is. I mean, I think I'm gonna probably call it. Have you seen that show, The Tiger King?
no, I never even heard of it.
It's like everyone is on it. Like Kristen is watching it right now, but I
Is
haven't
that the
started it.
is that the Netflix thing?
Yeah, apparently it's a show. Like it's a really good documentary or something. But I guess
Oh,
about a guy in Oklahoma, and now it's like world famous. Or like this gay guy that owns like most tons of tigers in
I had a
Oklahoma.
buddy that worked for him.
Are you serious?
He used to work at that zoo.
Nah.
Yep. Oh yeah, he worked there for like a couple months. Like lived there, worked there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he was all fucked up. He had some fucking stories.
Yeah, no,
It was all fucked
that's
up.
what I keep hearing. I'll have to give it a shot.
Like he was thinking about letting the animals go and shit himself. Like he was like hardcore PETA type style or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's also like he's a little bit out there. But I was like, damn.
Yep.
But yeah, dude, that's right down the street. He also tried to become president and shit. Like the guy's
Crazy.
weird. But yeah, man.
What are you doing the rest
Just
of the night?
not much.
Yeah. Are you
Not
streaming
much.
to Facebook and YouTube, or Facebook?
Nah. Do you do both at the same time?
Yeah,
How? You could do it with
with Streamlabs. It lets you. Do,
oh.
yeah, like that's the only difference. I think that OBS can record better, but Streamlabs streams better. I think.
Oh, that's interesting. Because I'm pretty sure on OBS you can only set it to one or the other at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, here it gives you the multi-stream option, so you can do actually like 5. You can do Twitch, Facebook, Vimeo. Like you can stream like quite a bit. And I mean, you can
I
do screen
wonder-
recording too, but
And record at the same time as streaming.
yeah, I did it. I did that for that long one that we had that Sunday. I recorded the whole thing
Jeez.
and streamed it. Like, and you know, the recording looked amazing. I mean, it was a large file. It was like 11 gigs, but it looked amazing, and the stream was flawless. Like, it was perfect. But
Yeah, I might check it out just because it can stream multiple at the same time. Because you don't even have to record it if you stream it because you can always download the stream afterwards.
that's exactly what I've been doing. Like I stopped recording it just for that reason, man. And it's been working flawlessly. Man, the other thing that is nice is you probably never have run into this issue, but like there was a couple of months, like I said, that I ran into data caps, and so I would get an email. It's like, hey, you still have 6 days in the month. You know, like you only have 200 megs to download. Otherwise, you'll get charged extra or whatever. So
Damn.
yeah, like because I also like I said, I torrent movie and large files and whatever. But on top of that, we watch Netflix on 4K. Kristen watches TV. Dylan watches. So like you only have your data really, and I'm sure that Jen uses like minimal. So like that's not an issue. But now with this crisis, like Xfinity said, you guys have unlimited data for 2 months. So I mean, I could stream 24 hours nonstop, and then we have unlimited data for the next month or so.
I don't know if I have a limit or not.
No one does.
I think
No one does, because you could definitely fuck them up, right? Like you could you'll be downloading constantly stuff, and yeah.
well, I do wonder like if they throttle it or something at some point, but I've never come close.
No, it's a lot. You like I have in my package, I have 1,024 gigabytes per month. I mean, that's a lot of data, you know. You with your speed connection, you probably have even more. You probably have like 3,000 you have 3 terabytes of that in 1 month. That's a lot to download, you know?
Damn, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. Anyways, bro. All right.
All right, later, man.
Have a good one.